So this is a mudra of concentration, dhyan mudra. Good for learning, good for meditating, good for relaxing, good before sleep, good before, after shower for meditating, I guess. Many different things. So this is how I start with the pyramid of six contrasting. It's basically a hexagon of six contrasting gunas, starting with suksha, which means subtle, andhra, or non-material kind of, right? Whereas andhra is a more solid thing, a more manifest thing, right? A subtle versus manifest. This right here is vata, which is subtle. The other two are more manifest. They can be seen, like fire and the bile, and the phlegm that comes out, or the earth and so forth, and the mud swamps, which is a perfect representation of kapha. So yeah, these are the three doshas, and the first one is vata, which is subtle, and these other two qualities vata has are lagu. So it shares the quality of lightness, lagu, with the bile humor. So the gas humor shares lightness. So gas is light, and it is subtle. It's unseen, invisible. Then the third one is cold, sita, sital or sita. Sital, it basically means a cooling kind of effect, right? So wind, as you notice on a summer day, will cool you right down, and it can be seen, but it does wonders to your temperature and your sense of well-being in a summer day. And also, it is very light, so you feel lighter. All that sticky, heavy feeling from the sweat will evaporate away, just like when you dry yourself out of a shower. So cooling and lightning is the quality, and subtle is the quality of vata. Let's go to pitta. You already know it is light. It shares that quality with vata, gas, and it also has a quality of ushna. So the unique quality of pitta, the reason it transforms things, the reason it brings knowledge is because it's hot. It's very right up there, like the sun up in your midday face, right? It has the quality of heating. It heats up things. It's a fire. It's the lighter. It's the gas that you cook your food on. Okay, so it transforms things because it's hot, and it's also light. Then the third quality that it has, which it shares with kapha, is it is andhra. So it is exactly like we already talked about. It is solid. It is manifest. Then we have the kapha dosha, which is the phlegm quality, the regenerative force of earth. And that uniquely has a property of heaviness, guru. Guru, as a teacher, I guess, means someone with deep understanding. So deep that when it lands on you, it's heavy, and it blows your mind. So guru is heavy, okay? Blows your mind, breaks your shell of a mind, I guess. So kapha is heavy. The phlegm that comes out, it doesn't want to come out, you know. You have to smoke something. You have to do some exercise, really build up friction to get it out. So it is heavy, okay, guru. Then it is also cold, which is shares with vata. So as you can see, these different qualities in the day, in the timing of your activity, even in the timing of the day, in the timing of your life, your age, and your unique constitution. These are all based on these five elements and these 10 qualities. There's a couple others like lubricating and more roughening and smooth and so forth. But these three basic things capture the main idea, because the main idea is these three very different qualities in opposites will very perfectly give you an understanding of what forces are occurring and are being affected internally and externally. Okay. So this is another chart on the details of the information of the qualities. So for example, let me read from this for you, if I can fix this up to do that. Let's look at the quality of roughness, karatwa. This is one of the 10 qualities that I mentioned. Right here we have 8. Now number 6 is karatwa, which means roughness, which means coarse textured and rough hair, skin, nails, teeth, face, hands, and feet. So you know the typical expression of a witch with a sharp, ugly kind of face. That's a very fiery face, but it also is very rough. I don't know if I think fire doesn't have the rough quality, but after it reduces you, you do end up rough. So maybe it does. Anyway, hope you can keep up with all this rambling. Hopefully it makes sense, and hopefully I'm making sense to myself or to anyone. So the other one that I was thinking about is chanchalta, right? Motility. So what is motility in the body? Chanchalta. And the quality of vata, gas. What does that motility have to do in the body? What does it look like in the body? So here we have chanchalta being described as movement. It is the movement of joints, eyes, eyebrows, jaws. So any pain in that area would have to do with your gas humor being excessive, probably. Lips, tongue, head. So all this movement, even heart rhythm, muscle spasms, even and in the mentally is changeable mind and emotions. So having too much motility, our current society that we live in is going to cause you to have a mixed up mood and attitude, all right? Just like the Jacob Miller song. Mixed up moods and attitudes won't work. That's what happens when you have too much motility in the mind. You have changeable mind and emotions. So just be careful out there and don't be too motile. Let's look at another problem out in the world. I think it's too much heat, which kind of has to do with motility. How about dryness, right? When in the Matrix, Neo is brought from his little dream world of the job and the job and the little miserable alone life he had, and when he gets taken out of the Matrix into the real world, Morpheus shows him where he actually exists, and it's called the desert of the real, and it's a desert, a dry place. So let's look at what excessive dryness does to the body. Because dryness is what happens to you after too much motility, too much activity, too much study, too much work, too many decisions, too many experiences, that causes dryness. Too much polluted air, I guess, and drying California desert air, right? That's all a drying factor in our environment. So let's look at what it causes. It causes dryness, emaciation and stunted growth, poor development of bodily tissues, vocal unclarity, low, obstructed, dry, rough, and hoarse voice, and lack of sleep. So insomnia, common problem. I've had the problem of throat problems and from talking too much as a teacher after I started working full-time. And what else does dryness cause? It causes vocal unclarity. So all the speech problems out there could be caused by this, too much dryness. And this antidote to that, obviously, I don't want to just say all the negatives, is you have to pay me for the antidotes. You have to pay me at Kunal, my first name, my last initial, 85@gmail.com. Send me a PayPal donation if you want, because I'm not really earning money right now. And I'm trying to work as much as I can, but what I can in the schedule that I want to live my life in. And I'm just taking care of my health right now. So let's go back to learning about our health, which is called the 10 qualities, the gunas. And we just talked about the common problems, such as throat issues and insomnia that are caused by too much dryness in our society. And I had been diagnosed with polyps, which is basically just that. So anyhow, I think my postnasal drip is like a reaction. It was a reaction from my body to cope with the not no, maybe a reaction from the inflammation, but also to cope with the dry air all the time, perhaps. So let's move on, because I don't want to go all the way. This is deep philosophy right here, and it's already more than half an hour talking. So yeah, the best way to cure the wind humor is to block yourself in a box, in a sensory deprivation tank. That will probably be a good meditation, but the easiest and best way Ayurveda recommends for the gas humor is to oil in food, in if you can digestion can handle it, or in massaging over your skin if your system is ready for it and you have enough digestive fire to transform it and absorb it. So when gas is cured by the oils and rest. Number two is the bile humor. The fire humor is cured by not water, not just drinking a glass of water every day, but living a very cool lifestyle. So your lifestyle is what causes all these fiery diseases that we see in our society: high blood pressure, diabetes. Diabetes is more of a earthy thing too, but what else? High blood pressure. We have heart pain, heart problems, many heart problems. Heart attacks are primarily caused by bile and gas. And believe it or not, because gas is communication, it is a transformation, it is movement. So then we have the bile humor, which is cured by a relaxed lifestyle. Even little hanging out with little kids is good for it. Hanging out with women, good women, not drama queens, which are the fiery element of females. So yeah, that causes coolness, keeping cool temperature, a lot of different things. But I think the main one to cure the actual humor in your body is fasting. So probably water fasting would be the best one. That's why the Muslims do Ramadan and fast through the day. But when it cools down, then they start eating, because they were trying to get rid of that heating humor, which increases when you eat. And then, it's good to eat fruits a lot. That's why tropical climates have so many fruits that are so nourishing. So those are all lifestyle tips you can look up yourself. So let's get on to the basic principles. And the next one is just like, well, I'll show you right now. There's divisions. So these three doshas, once you understand the qualities and nature of them, to understand them deeper, you have to understand how they work in your body, because dosha means a fault. It's an imbalance. It's a imperfection in you. So everybody has a dosha, sometimes more than one. And if you have all three, you're actually the strongest of the bunch. And kapha is the strongest. Vata is technically the weakest, physically speaking, of the doshas. And even mentally, really, for certain ways. So these doshas are based on the 5 principles, which makes up the whole universe, including our thoughts. Therefore, these 3 doshas can be seen throughout all of existence, because these are the 3 stages of evolution of anything that happens in the world, whether it is our human body and our life, our human biological life, or whether it is the time of the day and how they change, the seasons, and how the seasons change, how day and night changes, how any action that is taken in the world goes through, how any disease takes place in your body. All of this is the cycle of the 3. Okay, the Holy Ghost, the Son and the Father. Or the man and the woman and the divine enlightened Son, right? So anyhow, here we have the 3 doshas composed of the 5 elements, and These three doshas are present in different places in the body. So the seat of the Vata dosha is in your rectum, in your alimentary, in your lower intestines. Okay? That's the seat, because that's where all the transformation and that's where the movement occurs, peristalsis, and not peristalsis, so to speak, but the eliminative movements start at the large intestine. That's why they're the originator of the gas element in our body. And then we have the fire or the bile transformative element, and that is found in the digestive system, primarily the organs like the pancreas and the liver and the so forth. Because they all digest the food, they're required for transforming what we eat. And and even in the brain, because you heard about the gut connection with the brain, right? Only when your gut is happy does your brain work. So your supposed brain that makes you think. Because I feel it's the heart that makes you think, or the spinal cord even. The chakras. The 7 chakras. So anyway, so gas, and then we have the transformative element right here. The gut, which controls everything. The number one thing in Hindu health is treat your gut right, and then you'll be free from disease, okay? It's not a food, exercise, diet. It's just watch your gut, listen to your gut. The gut is the king. Listen to the, obey the gut, right? There should be instead of those gay-ass obey shirts right here, which those idiots don't even know which movie those shirts are coming from. It should be right here in your gut. Obey. All right? So listen to your gut, like my mentor once told me. And then we have the phlegm humor. Imagine where that is. Right here, right in your chest areas. All the not because there's wind here too, as you can see, but the wind is enveloped and cushioned by this phlegmy, and the lungs is just water and mucus, pretty much mucus sacs. So anyway, that's the phlegm element, okay. And in the head too. The head is 85% water, but it's also a lot of fat, and a lot of wrappings, fat wrappings, like bacon, rolling paper or something, around every joint, around every axon, which is a nerve. Anyway, so I talked about the different different parts of the body and the doshas. Now I'm going to talk about the different times of the day and the doshas, okay? So I think I showed you this picture already, but I just never explained it, so hopefully I can find it. No, I don't have it here. Well, it's got to be one of these, and I'll find it eventually as I move through. So the morning time is the time of kapha. That's regenerative time. That's when nature renews itself. And that's why it's the time of kapha, or phlegm. Then we have the afternoon time, which is obviously a time of fire, bile. And lastly, we have the time of wind, which is a nighttime. That's when you are burned out. You want to rest because you don't have any energy left. And you feel more creative too. You don't want to listen to music, talk to family and friends. Let's try some aloe vera right now. And that's a great medicine, internally and externally, for this season of fire, bile, summer, and a little bit autumn too. Definitely autumn. Yeah. It's good for joint pains and digestive health, also, and hair. You already knew that. So those are the three doshas in the times of the day, but also every time of the day is subdivided into doshas. So, for example, we have kapha, phlegm, from like sunrise to about when the sun gets hotter. Then you from the late morning to the late evening almost. It's the time of pitta, and then in the evening it's vata again for a little while. In the late afternoon and the early evening, it's vata as the sun moves across the sky. And then we have the kapha, a mini kapha in the night. Then it goes into the mini pitta, but it's mostly vata as you feel. And yeah, that's why if you stay after 10 o'clock in the night, you can't sleep because then the pitta starts to increase as you get towards midnight. And then you have the vata. And the main time of vata is the early morning, Lucifer, son of the morning. So before the morning sun rises, it's the time of gas, the time for creative endeavors, right? Study and meditation and prayer and so forth. And my mom was actually raised that way too, to follow the daily routines of Ayurveda. And I could go on and on about many different things, but I just wanted to remind you about the 5 different elements that make up the 3 different humors of the cuff, of the phlegm, the bile, and the movement of the movement of the legs and the feet and so forth. So those are the 3, and those are the 5. And this is dhyan mudra, which means the mudra or the gesture of meditation and concentration. This is wind eliminating gesture, ear disorders, obesity or anorexia, urinary issues, and maybe diabetes. No, I think this is diabetes, but it might be this. So anyway, these are the 5 mudras. Then you can do more. The satanic symbol. This is actually the Apan mudra, which means the downward, right? Satanism. So the downward moving force. So this is also useful because, for example, when you eat a meal, you want it to go down into your body and be digested. So that's why after a meal you do this. Also, if you have too much pollution and you feel kind of sick because of it, and you realize that there's too much pollution and you don't have cannabis, which is a great antidote, a great kind of protection in a polluted environment. If you don't have any kind of protection like sage, another one, tulsi, if you don't have these defense plant allies, then you can also, or in combination with them, you can also meditate on this gesture or use this gesture in your daily activities, which is a gesture of downward moving force, eliminative force. And then we have, I already told you this. I think there's one like this, but I forgot. I think this is for kapha doshas, but I might be wrong. Or maybe this is for spiritual study, because this is what Jesus does a lot too. And so that's it. Our hands are powerful. I heard a great speech by Smita Sanbui, I believe, from Toastmasters, who talked about the value of our hands, and mind-blowing speech. The only thing, she ran over time and Toastmaster rules wouldn't let her qualify, unfortunately, to win the award. But everybody would have given the award to her because she. It started like with theater and a powerful message full of poetry. It was just beautiful. So anyway, these are the power of your hands, and these are the 3 doshas, which you have and which nature has. So hopefully this inspires you to look into the subject more, or hire me as your personal consultant for a health transformative experience, or just a mind expanding experience, because really philosophy is useful to people who don't want to just exist as a rat on a treadmill in the rat race and want something deeper out of life. Okay, just another one of the ways to get it is through knowledge. or devotion, or an action. All three are necessary, but these are all purificatory methods for your soul. All right, so hopefully you can you can purify your temple with things I'm teaching you, and don't forget to donate, and don't forget to be good. Bye.